What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 12, episode 3. So we pick up this episode with Eva doing some house hunting. She's got Cynthia with her, and um, she's looking at a really cute house. She said that her and Mike are in a 2-bedroom condo, and that's where they've been since Nene sort of outed their address or where they were living or what have you. And, excuse me, she said, it's a legit situation and that at this point they're looking for this house and this is going to be their house they buying. And the house was cute. It was like 4 or 5 bedrooms. It was nice and it was a decent, I thought it was a cute house. And Eva was saying that basically their top priority is safety because of the situation with her baby daddy, who just got arrested recently and who has a history of violence and stuff. So I don't think it's too far out of the realm. And she said that he was physically abusive to her. So I don't think it's too far out of the realm for what she said last season about why they're making certain moves that they're making. We see a really nice conversation between Cynthia and Eva, where Eva is like, I'm really mad at myself that it took me this long to really get to know Cynthia and build this friendship with her, because she's really a cool person. I'm really loving our friendship. I'm loving getting to know her. And, I appreciate who she is. And I can appreciate that because I never understood the shade. I never understood why Eva was throwing all this shade at Cynthia off the break, especially since, I don't know, I guess it's that cattiness of being in the same industry and that competition piece or whatever. I don't know. Then they talked about the whole Nene thing, and Cynthia was saying how, she hasn't talked to Nene, and they built up this whole Nene Cynthia. That's what this whole episode was about: Nene Cynthia, Nene Cynthia, Nene and Cynthia. And so, Cynthia was like, "Look, I ain't talked to the woman. I ain't said nothing to the woman." They saw each other at the Kentucky Derby, but it wasn't a confrontation. They were able to sort of maneuver around each other at the event, but they're going to see each other at the Pride event because, of course, Bravo had a float and they had a lot of the housewives there, and Nene is one of the housewives as well as Cynthia that's going to be on the float, honey. So, then Cynthia got a little shady with Miss Eva when the lady told her how much the house was. I think the house was $775 or something. Cynthia gonna say, "Can you afford that?" Cynthia, that was shady. Now, Eva said she could and she pre-qualified. Boom. Now, we see Porsha meeting up with Tanya. And come to find out, Porsha and Tanya have become really good friends. Porsha said, it was funny because Tanya started off as Nene's friend, then she became Eva's friend, and now she my friend, to the point where, she said, Tanya and her fiance are sort of their dating partners that they used to double date a lot. And so with everything going on with Dennis, she said Tanya is just somebody that she could talk to and everything. And once again, we hear her talking about how she, don't really want to get out the house and work and everything, but she got herself together and that she felt better. Once she did her hair and put on her makeup and everything, she did feel better. And so they had a good conversation, and, she just let her know what happened at the therapist. And she gave us a little more detail. She said that Dennis basically said that the reason why he cheated is because he felt like that Porsha was unavailable to him. And Porsha said, she thought about that thing. And then she went home and she matched up the dates of the incident with what they were doing in their life at that time. And she said, I'm finding pictures of us going to the movies and going to a concert and me doing this with him and me doing that with him. So at what point was I unavailable to you? At what point was I not the woman you needed me to be and I wasn't doing the things you needed me to do? And I said, see, men find excuses for bad behavior. Well, not just men, people. But he was finding an excuse for his bad behavior. Because again, y'all together all day, every day, but you were emotionally unavailable to him, then it seems to me like the conversation should have been had rather than you going out here and finding somewhere to find your emotions. But anyway, and then Tanya just expressed how she's disappointed and upset, because she did get to know Dennis, and So she's, obviously not happy with how things are going. So I guess Tanya is a friend of the show this year. I wonder why they took Shamari's apple. We missing a little bit of that crazy ass Shamari. Shamari was crazy as hell. Anyway, so then we see, and we find out also that Noelle, I kind of missed this part, but Noelle is going with Cynthia to Pride. She's going to be on the float and everything, especially now that she's expressing that she's, part of the community, and so that's a good thing for her to be there to experience that. Now over to what was Kenya Moore calling her house? I don't remember. More Manor. Over to More Manor, we see Kenya. She's got her friend come over, and she's talking to her friend, and she's basically, look, I ain't dragging this thing out. She basically telling her friend, Mark is just unavailable. Mark's priority is Brooklyn. To the point where Mark just wants Brooklyn to sleep in the bed with them. Mark doesn't really care about having alone time with Kenya. And Kenya was like, I understand and I respect the fact that he loves his daughter, but I just feel like I'm nowhere in the equation. And, when we first got together, things were great. It was this. And now it's just all about Brooklyn. And I'm just lost in the sauce. And I feel like he just has no interest in us anymore. In us as a couple anymore. And she said he comes home every 7 to 10 days. And it's just all about Brooklyn, And then later on in the episode, I'm just going to knock this out. Later on in the episode, we see Mark. Mark came home. And was it me, or did it seem like that Kenya was just walking around on eggshells around this man? This is your husband. This is your husband. And even before y'all had a baby, this was your husband. And it's almost like you're walking around with this man like you're scared of him. Like you're scared to upset him. You're scared to say the wrong thing. She was cooking him breakfast and she didn't have eggs, and it was just like it was just weird. And I mean, even she made pancakes and he acted like it was the first time he ever had her cooking. And she was like, I know how to make pancakes. And I'm thinking, y'all been married for about 2 years now. You ain't never made that man pancakes before? Like, he doesn't know you can cook? It was just weird. That whole interaction between them was weird. And basically what we walked away from with that interaction is what we already know. That man ain't checking for Kenya. It is all about that baby. He is not checking for Kenya. His birthday is coming up and Kenya is planning a getaway for them. And she was saying how they got to get the nanny and everything. And he was like, a nanny? He's like, we don't need no nanny. She going with us. And Kenya was like, you want her to go with us on your birthday trip? And I know what Kenya was saying was like, look, this is an opportunity for us to have some alone time. And you don't want it? You don't want the alone time? And he was like, nah, she coming with me. She going everywhere I go. And I was like, Kenya, that man ain't checking for you. And I felt bad in that moment because I don't always feel bad for Kenya. But in that moment, I did feel bad for Kenya because it is so clear that man is paying Kenya dust. It's so clear. Now, over to the leaks. That is our first episode seeing the leaks. And y'all shared with me that Nene was suspended because of what happened last season. So this is our first time seeing the leaks. And what we're seeing from Nene is, she's a newer, better Nene because Greg is cancer-free now. A lot of the weight is off of their shoulders. They're still not 100% where they want to be or where they were, but they're definitely getting there. She said that they were already having some problems before Greg got sick. So that just... him being sick just exasperated, thank you, the whole situation. And she was saying how she felt alone because, and of course, they flashed back to different things last season, but she said she felt like nobody really understood what she was going through as a caregiver. And she said she probably wasn't the best caregiver, but it wasn't from lack of empathy. It was just her feeling alone and not understanding, I guess, how to move forward or how to do it. And that, their marriage was in a really bad place. She said, and they're rebuilding. So they're not back where they want to be, but they're rebuilding. She went on to say how, she was just in a bad space last season, I guess to explain some of her behavior. But have we not heard this from Nene before? Have we not gone through this with Nene before? Whatever. And they're taping an infomercial for the National Cancer Society where they're going to talk about their experiences. You know, Greg's, they've been doing, I guess, different ones when they've done these before when Greg was going through the chemo and when he had the cancer. And now this is sort of the aftermath after he's been found cancer free, and sort of clearing that, I mean, not clearing it up, but telling sort of their story from after the aftermath, so to speak. And they just talked about how bad things got with their marriage and how alone Nene felt, and what Greg was going through. So, I mean, they're giving us a little glimpse, but I think we kind of already knew a lot of this. But the whole, I'm in a better place now. I think that's just probably what Bravo told her she had to say in light of the whole situation with the closet last season. I couldn't get it out. And then, of course, they talked about the whole Cynthia thing, and she was saying how she did reach out to Cynthia. She did reach out to Cynthia, but Cynthia said that the text was nasty. So she was like, yeah, it was something about, basically Nene being nasty towards her and calling her a liar and stuff. She's like, well, I texted Cynthia, and she never texted me back. I guess not. Cynthia said, yeah, I got her text, and she was being rude, so I blocked her. I said, well, I can't blame Cynthia. But, and Greg, Nene's seeing a spiritual advisor. Her spiritual advisor is helping her figure it all out. And Greg said, look, all you can do is take responsibility for your part, apologize for your part in all of this, and let the chips fall where they're going to fall. Like, that's all you can do. But he's telling her to take responsibility for her part in it and what she did or didn't do. And again, I told you this whole episode was building up to the Cynthia Nene meetup, right? And they were talking about, them going on the float next week and how all of that was going to work out or what have you, with them seeing Cynthia and stuff like that. So then we see what's going on with Kandi and with Todd. And they're dealing with the surrogate and with the baby. And Kandi says, I haven't told anybody. I haven't made any post on Instagram or social media. Nobody really knows what's going on. And of course, by the time, right, like in real time now where we're filming, I mean, I'm sure people know now. Or the baby should be almost here if it's not already here. I don't know. But, Todd is telling her that she don't know how to, she doesn't know surrogate etiquette 101. And Kandi was like, do you know surrogate etiquette 101? Like, what should we be doing? What should we be saying? Like, what? Because he was saying something about the baby shower and rubbing the belly and all that. And Kandi was like, we're not just going to have people just willy-nilly rubbing her belly. Like, we're not doing that, And then I think his daughter's moving to New York because she wants to get into entertainment or what have you. And so she's going to be moving to New York, I believe, is what they were saying. That part was a little boring. I think it was just a scene for them to film. But we'll see more with the surrogate, And Kandi, we're starting to see little glimpses with Kandi and Todd, too, because Kandi is saying how she felt like, Todd is kind of trying to tell her what to do, and she doesn't really like being told what to do so much. So I think we might be seeing some things with them this season, too. We'll see. Cynthia's getting ready to go to Bravo, getting ready for the float. We see her and Mike having a conversation. And again, it's this whole build up to Nene. So they're talking about Nene and when you see Nene and how you should act when you see Nene and all that good stuff. Again, it's this whole build up. It is this whole build up, honey. So now they are in New York. Everybody's getting ready to get on the float. We see Eva getting her outfit together. We see Nene getting her makeup and hair done. Now, this is what I will never... This is the second time this has happened. This happened when they were in Tokyo last season. And it happened again here. Nene is getting her hair done. Nene has on a wig that is totally different from the wig she ends up actually wearing on the float. And I don't even mean like a different hairstyle. I mean, it's a totally different wig. And I was just like, what? Because I thought her hair looked cute. It was like it had been braided and it was like crinkly and kind of full. I thought that was really cute. She was saying how she wanted it to be full and extra and all of that. And then when she got on the floor, she just had a flat bob. A blunt bob, Anyway, so Marlo comes in there to talk to Nene. And basically Marlo tells Nene, be humble and be open to direct we open to the reconciliation, you know. And she's doing it in normal Marlo fashion. She's being very forcing it on Nene. She's being very what's the word I'm looking for? She's being very pushy with it, and Nene ain't really feeling it. Nene is like, look, I'm here for everything. I'm fine. I can be around her without it becoming an issue, but I'm gonna need you to kind of back up off me and chill out a little bit. Like, you really doing a lot. You doing the most right now. But Marlo, I think, was just trying to let Nene know, look, it happened. It's over. You and Cynthia need to go on and just make it up. Y'all just need to go on and clear the air. Now over to Cynthia and Eva's room. Cynthia gets wind of an interview that Nene did, where Nene is basically talking shit about Cynthia, saying that she's weak and that she's out here making a fool of herself with Mike Hill and all this other stuff. So, of course, now this all happened right as they were getting their makeup and their hair together to get on the float. So, of course, now Cynthia walks on the float with an attitude, because she like, oh, you was just literally just talking shit about me. Now, from Nene's point of view, Nene said, well, Cynthia went on a whole tour. Did interview after interview after interview at the end of last season. So it's not like she had to talk shit about me. Like, this isn't new. We've been going back and forth. So last we see that they're on the float and Nene gets on the float. And, they try to make it real dramatic. And then Nene actually goes over to speak to Cynthia. And that's where the episode ends. I said, y'all really did too much. Y'all really did too much, because that was so anticlimactic. That was so extra. But anyway, that's where the episode ends. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments, please.